The Praying Child, the Story of Esther. Once upon a time, in a small town nestled between rolling hills and busy streets, there lived a young girl named Esther. Esther was born into a family where peace was a stranger, and joy seemed like a faraway dream. Her father, a man hardened by life's disappointments, never believed in God. Her mother, though kind, was often too weary from the constant struggles at home to offer the comfort Esther longed for. Their home echoed with anger, arguments, and frustration, and it didn't take long for Esther to learn how to hide her pain behind a brave smile. Despite the chaos surrounding her, Esther was different. From an early age, she felt a deep love for God, even though the world around her seemed to have no place for him. As soon as she could walk, Esther was drawn to the church. The ringing bells on Sundays, the peaceful atmosphere, and the stories of faith she heard filled her heart with hope. Hope that she didn't always find at home. But there was one problem: her father. He didn't understand why his daughter spent so much time in a place he didn't believe in. He often ridiculed her for it, calling her foolish and naive.
You're just a little girl. What can you possibly know about God?
This church nonsense won't help you. You need to face the reality of life. Esther didn't let his words break her spirit. No matter how much her father tried to stop her, she would sneak away to church every Sunday. Though she feared the anger he might show, she knew in her heart that nothing could take away her love for God. Every week, as she walked the long, quiet path to the church, she prayed silently, asking God for strength to continue in her faith despite her father's objections. At church, Esther found the love and comfort she couldn't find at home. She threw herself into serving, helping with the children's ministry, cleaning the church, and doing whatever was needed. She wasn't just a church girl by name, she lived out her faith with every action. In the stillness of the church, Esther poured out her heart in prayer, asking God to help her family heal and for her father's heart to soften. She prayed not only for herself but for others, people who didn't know the love of God, just like her father. She believed that if she kept serving and praying, God would show his power in her life. But there was something else about Esther that made her unique. She had a gift that came straight from her heart. She could sing. And oh, how she sang! Her voice was pure and soulful, filling the church with a sweetness that moved everyone who heard it. Whether she was singing hymns during worship or quietly humming a song of praise in her room, her voice had the power to touch the deepest parts of the soul. Esther loved to sing, and in her songs, she found a way to express her love for God, her gratitude, and even her pain. Her songs became her prayers, the way she communicated with God when words weren't enough. And as she sang, she felt his presence like never before, filling her heart with peace that nothing else could provide. However, her struggles didn't stop at home. One day, as Esther sat with her friends at school, they pressured her to join their group. It was a group that didn't share her values, one that walked down a path of rebellion and foolishness. They laughed and threatened her.
If you don't join us, you'll never fit in. No one will care about you.
No one will care about you. It was the first time Esther felt truly alone. The pressure to belong, to be accepted, was stronger than ever. But Esther, though young, knew the importance of the choices she made. She remembered her prayers, her faith, and the love she had for God. She didn't want to walk the path of destruction that her friends were choosing. With a quiet but firm resolve, Esther looked at them and said,
I'm sorry, but I can't join your group. I want to follow God, and I know he has a better plan for me.
I hope one day you understand that. Her friends mocked her, calling her weak and saying she would regret her decision. But Esther stood tall, unwavering. She turned away from the group, knowing that though it was hard, she had made the right choice. And though she felt lonely at times, she knew that God was with her every step of the way. Years passed, and Esther's faith never wavered. She continued praying, singing, serving in the church, and trusting God. Slowly, her father began to see something different in his daughter. Her strength, her love, her unwavering faith, and yes, her beautiful songs, softened his hardened heart. One day, after years of resisting, her father came to her and said, "Esther, I've watched you. I've seen how you live, and I want what you have. Maybe there is something to this God you believe in." Esther's heart soared with joy, but she knew that this was just the beginning. Her prayers had been answered. Her father, once filled with anger and doubt, began attending church with her. The family that had been broken for so long was slowly healing, piece by piece. Esther continued to pray, not just for her father but for the people around her, knowing that God's work in her life was far from over. Esther's story didn't end there. As she grew older, she became a leader in her church, inspiring others with her story of resilience and unwavering faith. She shared her journey with others. How prayer had lifted her from despair, how her service to God had given her purpose, how her singing had been a constant source of strength, and how choosing to follow God's path had brought her peace in the midst of chaos. Her father, once an unbeliever, now stood beside her in church every Sunday, hands raised in worship. The home that was once filled with strife and anger now echoed with laughter and love. Esther's prayers had worked, her faith had moved mountains. She had been the light in her family's darkness, and through her, they had all found the love of God. Esther's story was a sweet reminder that with God, all things are possible.